Humans have a fear of snakes etched into their genes. I believe everyone has heard a similar viewpoint. And Luna had always treated this sentence as a description, a figure of speech for fear, a device. But unexpectedly, after consulting a large amount of literature, I found that this is actually a legitimate scientific theory. My biology was truly taught by my language teacher. What is more interesting is that, for tens of millions of years, the threat from snakes may have already reshaped our bodies. And during the rise of the terrifying upright hominids, snakes may have been forced to develop long-range attacks. Between humans and snakes, there unexpectedly exists a complex coevolutionary relationship. Regarding humans' innate fear of snakes, it has actually been verified by numerous experiments. Scientists had subjects observe pictures of snakes and other things, including flowers, mushrooms, spiders, koalas, and so on. The results showed that, in a statistical sense, people detect snakes faster, always faster than other things. At the same time, the human brain's reaction to snakes is also the strongest. This is especially true when snakes display a typical attack posture. Especially so. What is even stranger is, before the subjects consciously looked at the snake, their physiology had already reacted. This is a human body's subconscious information processing mechanism that is only effective for fear stimuli. When you subconsciously avoid danger, you may have used this superpower. You might think, these experiments do not prove anything, because the fear of snakes is likely caused by acquired experience, rather than being innate. But these experiments were not limited to adults. They also included infants aged 8 to 14 months, children aged 3 to 5 years, and even captive monkeys that had never seen a snake. This shows that a wide range of primates, including humans, have an innate fear of snakes. This fear, dominated by snake, is a legacy from the ancient genes of a savage era. It constantly plunges us into nightmares of snakes, to remind us to avoid the dangers encountered over millions of years. This thought is so deeply ingrained, so much so that all of human culture has been permeated by snakes. They left their image on the pharaoh's scepter, on China's totem, in India's mythology, and in every living, hissing strand of Medusa's hair. Hissing hair. But back to the topic, I believe no one will deny the psychological impact of snakes on humans, but some scientists have a bolder view. They believe that for tens of millions of years, the threat of snakes has deeply reshaped the bodies of primates, especially our visual system. In the age of dinosaurs, since most mammals were low-key nocturnal animals, so their vision was always poor, and they were also colorblind. But after the extinction of the dinosaurs, primates, on this very poor foundation, actually evolved an exceptionally excellent visual system. Their eyes face forward, and they have a strong sense of depth perception. The area of the brain that processes visual information also expanded significantly, and some primates even have trichromatic vision. What is even more subversive to our understanding is that, in fact, among vertebrates, humans and other hominoids are, apart from some predatory birds, the ones with the sharpest vision. Interestingly, the time when venomous snakes appeared and the time of the Great Leap in primate vision happened to coincide, also shortly after the extinction of the dinosaurs. Therefore, there is a hypothesis that for a long time, snakes have been an important natural enemy of primates. The reason why they evolved an excellent visual system is mainly to quickly detect snake. This hypothesis, the snake detection theory. And similar evolution has also been found in raptors. Raptors that specialize in eating snakes have larger eyes than general raptors, and stronger stereoscopic vision so that they can quickly spot well-camouflaged snakes. Perhaps some netizens will question, the excellent visual system of primates may have evolved for finding food. The difficulty of detecting snakes may not be high, so detecting snakes is just an incidental function. This is like if you have already learned high school math. Then there is no need to spend extra effort on elementary school math. However, this view is inconsistent with the facts. Among primates, the ones with the worst eyesight are the lemurs of Madagascar, and it just so happens that there have been no venomous snakes on this island. This suggests that it is likely the pressure from traffic jams forced primates outside the island to evolve better influence. Of course, this is not to say that other environmental pressures would not promote the evolution of vision at all. It just means that the influence of snakes may be quite significant. Perhaps some netizens will continue to question, since venomous snakes are such a big threat to primates outside of Madagascar, why did not they just evolve immunity to snake venom? Well, you know what, these primates outside the island actually have some snake venom immunity. Specifically, it is the primates of Africa and Eurasia, but not the Americas, because the platyrrhine monkeys of the Americas, adapted 35 million years ago, on the isolated continent of South America, developed independently. And the time when venomous snakes arrived there was a bit later. approximately, sometime between 3 million and 25 million years ago. In addition, most of the venomous snakes there are terrestrial animals and pose little threat to primates in trees. While the primates of Africa and Eurasia have all evolved resistance against the alpha neurotoxins of the elapid family. This indicates that cobras did indeed have a selective effect on the local primates. Unexpectedly, among these primates, our Hominina subfamily has the strongest anti-venom ability. The extant species of the Hominina subfamily include gorillas, chimpanzees, and us humans. These animals, compared to their ancestors, are more often active on the ground, so they are more likely to encounter cobras. But from a common-sense perspective, we humans are not immune to cobra venom. Indeed, compared to tough characters like the honey badger, primates' anti-venom ability is very weak, but a cobra bite is not always a serious event. Because cobras are very stingy with their precious venom, they only inject more venom when hunting. But when performing a defensive bite, they will reduce the amount of venom injected. If the venom does not reach a severe amount, the attacked ape or monkey will survive. So even a weak anti-venom ability may play a life-saving role in such an attack. Furthermore, from a group perspective, a slight resistance to venom can allow the poisoned individual to extend the time to fight with the snake and warn the group, thereby increasing the survival rate of relatives, allowing them to pass on the anti-venom genes. The weak anti-venom ability both proves that venomous snakes brought survival pressure to primates, and also supports that these primates mainly rely on vision and other methods to defend against venomous snakes. But the relationship between snakes and primates is not always one-sided. What does not overcome you will make you stronger. After acquiring excellent vision to see through the camouflage of snakes, some primates began to catch snakes for food, or simply like to mob snakes. Snakes are also being selected by primates. Both sides have clearly developed an arms race relationship. And among primates, the one that poses the greatest threat to snakes is the highly intelligent group that can use wood, stones and golden cudgels. The long-range attacks they launch would render the venom of venomous snakes completely useless. Therefore, there is a hypothesis that the venom-spitting ability of some cobras was forced out by our human ancestors. Spitting venom is a cobra's defensive skill, not a predatory skill. It attacks the enemy's eyes and can cause permanent blindness. Natural enemies of snakes such as birds, mammals and other reptiles often prey on spitting cobras. Therefore, spitting venom is often not an effective means of self-defense for cobras. But for primates whose eyes are on the front of their faces, spitting venom is extremely easy to cause injury. This skill is somewhat tailor-made. In addition, the evolutionary rhythm of spitting cobras and humans is also highly consistent. 7 million years ago, as global temperatures continued to fall, Africa's forests continued to shrink, while grasslands expanded significantly. The Hominini tribe, which likes to be active on the ground, was born at this juncture. The Hominini are the evolutionary branch that includes humans and chimpanzees. They are better at using tools like wood and stones than other primates, and the time of the appearance of African spitting cobras was 6.7 million years ago, just shortly after the birth of the Ren Zhu. Even more coincidentally, the Asian spitting cobra was born 2.5 million years ago, and the time when Homo erectus arrived in Asia is also roughly the same. In addition, the human body's anti-venom ability has already proven that the interaction between the two sides is very frequent. Therefore, it is reasonable for us to in turn help the snake demon in its cultivation. Is also reasonable. Okay, let us try. We can imagine some species of cobras may have particularly disliked for millions of years. They just like to bite our ancestors' buttocks. Suddenly one day, the weak monkey came a terrifying force. But this group of cobras did not realize that the tables have turned and still sent wave after wave of them to their doom until all the close combat units were sent out. Only the mutated species with long-range attacks were left, thus completing the purification of venom spitting. Today, humanity has grown to become the world's hegemon. We have conquered high mountains, crossed oceans, and even set foot on the moon. We have domesticated wild animals, planted crops, and built vast cities. However, under this seemingly invincible conquest, venomous snakes still maintain their threat to humans, with their unique adaptability. In some remote areas, casualties caused by venomous snakes are still not uncommon. This group of humanity's innate enemies is the last fear left to us by the animal kingdom. Snakes have carved their image into the human genome, constantly reminding us of humanity's identity as children of nature. Maintaining a heart of reverence for nature is the cornerstone of our species' endless continuation. Your support is the driving force of my creation. Please give me a triple tap. See you next time.